All right, welcome back. From impeachment threats to a looming government shutdown, it looks like September could be a jam-packed month here on Capitol Hill. The Senate back today. The Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, discussed what he believes needs to happen in the chamber this month.
Time is short to keep the government open, and that the only way we will finish the appropriations process is through bipartisanship. All sides must work together in good faith, without engaging in extremist or all-or-nothing tactics.
Mulvaney's laughing just at the soundbite. Meantime, the House... Happy with Alvin?
It just depends on who's not in the White House. The other party gives the same speech.
While the House returns next week, it remains divided over a short-term funding solution as a possible government shutdown looms. As our friends at the Hill put it, quote, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is currently facing a political minefield over both the shutdown and growing calls for an impeachment inquiry into President Biden. So you've heard that speech 1,000 times. On 1,001, 2, and 3, what are you hearing from Republicans right now, Mick?
From Republicans and Democrats, talk to both folks. The Democrats would love an impeachment inquiry. They would love it. They think it's good politics for them right now. Of course, Republicans said the same thing about Trump back when it happened in 2019. I think Republicans are a little bit torn. I think this Biden, the Hunter Biden thing over August changed a lot of the debate. I think that going into August, a lot of Republicans are saying, look, do we really want to do an impeachment thing? We don't really. I mean, we don't like the guy. We'd like to beat him in an election, but we don't really know if we got a high crime or misdemeanor. The allegations, the revelations that came forward about the Hunter Biden connections, the money that moved, if there's some there, then I think that changes the dynamic.
But the there has to be a connection with Hunter Biden to Joe Biden.
Correct.
First of all,
100%.
Second of all, you have to have evidence, corroborating evidence of a high crime and misdemeanor. And everything I've seen from the House Republicans and McCarthy is this idea, and as a result of this idea, they want to do an impeachment inquiry and do a major investigation when you have parallel investigations going on already.
But we have a text message from Hunter Biden saying, I have to give 40% of my salary to my father, in his own words.
That's not enough.
I mean,
that's not Joe Biden.
That raises a lot of questions.
So he's being investigated right now.
Back to giving his money to his dad.
Carrie, just back to the politics. I hate, Mick, that this is... I adore Mick. I hate, Mick,
that wasn't comma, period.
Comma, period.
That our political situation is such that everybody's talking about the politics of impeachment and not the actual reason to impeach. But politically, you're right. Democrats do want it, not just because they think it's good. They want to get the House members who are vulnerable on the record on impeachment because they intend to win the House.
Carrie, Mick, what do you think about this? Marjorie Taylor Greene, Congresswoman tweet, X, whatever, quote, the White House is attacking me for demanding an impeachment inquiry before I'll vote to fund 1 penny to our over-bloated $32 trillion in debt failing government. She's linking an impeachment inquiry to funding the government.
It's fine. It happens all the time. People attach anything they want to do to a spending bill because the spending bill ultimately has to pass. I do think there'll be a shutdown, but ultimately the government will
It's
open.
terrible, though. Here we have, we talked about BRICS.
Everybody does it.
I agree, but we talked about BRICS. They're literally trying to take the dollar's strength globally away from us. That is the summit of the China, India, Brazil, and we know South Africa. But I don't think that most Americans know when we have these government shutdowns, that continues to affect our standing globally.
Debt ceiling, I would agree with you on. Shutdown.
I don't think impeachment is a wise idea. I mean, right now, I think we do need more evidence. I think there is a lot of questionable evidence that we should continue to look into. I think it's premature right now, and I think they should focus on governing. That being said, yes, let's keep digging into it because it was determinative. People said it was determinative if that Hunter Biden laptop story had not been suppressed by the liberal media and by the tech industry.
Meantime,
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.